Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is Binky here today, and so this one was actually going to be one on the side, kind of, that I did extra on Sundays or something like that, and I actually ended up deciding that I'm going to do this quickly as the main one because there's only 5 fragrances from my understanding, and then that'll be like 2 weeks and a half. So I'm looking for something that's a little bit more international, just because I like to bring everybody in. Everybody should have fun. So there you go. There will be times they'll be US based because that's where I am, but you know, I like to get out there and make it happy for the masses. So this one is not available internationally at this time, and it's Snif Co. Now, yes, I've heard of this. I never really thought about trying it before. My friend is really big into it. She tends to like, I don't know, like she's big into like the Zara fragrances or things like this. She would never spend like $200 on perfume, and so she's like, just try it. And she wanted me to try the secret menu. There are things outside the secret menu. This is just the secret menu. So don't know too much about the company. From my understanding, they came about in around 2020 and decided they want to do something that was kind of young and hip, and decided like, we don't do heart notes, base notes, top, all that. I think it's listed now, but before it really wasn't. It was kind of like, just enjoy wearing this, and you know, it's going to be very gender, you know, anyone can wear it, and it's vegan and cruelty free. Now a lot of brands have since kind of come out like that is kind of the where the industry is at right now, is very wear what you want, which it should always have been. But you know, like we're talking about the 00s, and I guess the 80s and 70s and the 90s, it was very male female, and so there's a change in that. Things change. So, but I always say just wear what you want. But yes, so basically this was created by 2 people who worked in finance, from my understanding. So it was interesting, just, and I say that because to me it's going to be more of a marketing thing. It's going to be more of like, it's not somebody who's coming through via, I love perfume so much, I'm going to go to school for this and then I'm going to become a creator, or a collector who's like, I love perfumes, I want to create my own brand because of notes that I love. And it's different. I don't get that from this. It's more of, yeah, we want some fun fragrances. They're really good at marketing, and they're like, let's create a brand. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, as long as it's good, that's really all I care about. So there you go. So yes, so on the website it's just Snif, but it comes up as Snif Co. And there you go. So what I will say also was that there was a problem with my friend's order when she was ordering this, and then I have some tiny samples that I got. She let me borrow this, and then also another one, but there was a problem with the order, and I will say Snif Co. like that fixed it. They fixed it within, I would say, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. They did all the research. Something went wrong with the mail. There was issues, and they fixed it. It is like, honestly, and I'm not just saying this, and she's not just saying this because she told me the whole story, best customer service I've ever seen in my life. I cannot believe how quickly they resolved it and how awesome they were about it. It's really freaking cool. So yeah, I will say, just know that the customer service is phenomenal. Okay, so we are going to start with the newest of the group, and Scandalously Sweet Scandinavian Style. So Swede Tooth is the newest one that they released. And so Swede Tooth is very much, they love jelly candies like that, like Swedish fish and stuff. They really do. Or they like the really salty licorice. They really do. I haven't been to Sweden. I've been to every Scandinavian country except for Sweden. That's on my list. But they all tend to love that. They're really big into those like Swedish fish type. You can go into stores with tons of stuff like that. But the salted licorice is a lot of their jam. It's intense. There's salted licorice, and then there's Scandinavian salted licorice. It doesn't really fly here. But if you're in the region, I say give it a try. It's intense. I bought some back for my friends, and they were like, whoa. So there you go. I don't know if I'm friends with a couple of them anymore after that. Just kidding. But yeah, it's intense. So it's basically an ode to the gummy, the juicy, the perfectly soft and sugary treat takes ride on a dollar horse through the candy aisle of your dreams and smells something scandalously sweet. Ooh. Smells like watermelon, raspberry, candy, sugar, violet, cedarwood, and musk. Premium high quality ingredients, non-toxic, clean, vegan, cruelty-free, made without parabens, and onward. So, what they do is they give you this. It's 30 milliliters for $65, and then they give you a sample basically, and then you test it, and if you don't like it with the tester, you can return it as long as it is unopened, which is actually kind of nice because it saves on waste. So it's basically like, spray this bad boy on. They give you a little, I don't have it, my friend has it, but a little tester so you can test it out. And if you don't like it, you just send it back. And that way there's less waste. I kind of respect that, but there you go. Okay, so it's kind of cute. It's like a little book. You can put it on your display case. I have some over there of some of my favorite items. And you pull it out. It's like a book. And this is what it looks like. So I thought it was plastic. But it's not. Now, as far as the case, just giving my opinion, you know, this isn't something that I would put out on display. It's obviously plastic, and then this is not. This is a heavier glass. It's just the design is kind of to me, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I use a lot of indies, and they don't always have the best packaging, and the packaging's great. It's just the bottle's kind of but that's not what's important. So it's about the fragrance. So I'm just pointing that out. If you are a collector and into really nice display, this is just, you know, they're all uniform and look like this basically, and there you go. You smell it a little. Interesting. Very cool. Put it in your purse. There you go, your bag. So I'm going to do 2 here and 2 here, and we will see what this looks like, because it's supposed to be fruity and delicious, which is why I'm doing it, because these, for this time of year, this is perfect. Get in there. Okay. Yeah, definitely getting that watermelon. Interesting. So I'm eating it. Doesn't taste like watermelon. So I have some in the fridge. So this is very watermelon. Pretty much I'm getting watermelon. That's what I'm getting from this. Not a little bit of a little bit of cedar. I am getting that. Oh, I'm really eating that. Not smart. But it's definitely a watermelon vibe to it. Yeah, I'm not getting the raspberry. What I will say is this. Watermelon is really hard to put into fragrance form. It's kind of like raspberry sometimes when you put it into food form. It just has that raspberry taste, not a real raspberry. It's hard to formulate. It really is hard to make watermelon smell great. It's really nice. It's almost like kind of like the watermelon rind. It's the watermelon with the watermelon rind on it. So actually this is one of the better watermelon scents that I've smelled. Yeah, that's really interesting. I'm not really getting, well, I'm getting candy. So I'm definitely getting watermelon candy more than anything. And I know that they said that I am getting a little bit of that cedar. I am, just a little bit, but I'm not really getting the raspberry that they're toting on this. I am definitely getting the watermelon candy sugar. Yeah, it's basically watermelon and candy sugar. Or to me, just candy. Like if you smell like gummy bears and stuff, that smell. It's candy. It's just watermelon candy. I'm not getting too much of the other notes. It's extremely light. So what I'm going to say about this is this isn't complexity. These aren't scents that are here to blow your mind like Zoologist, you know, where it's like, whoa. You know, these aren't art pieces. I see these almost like, so far, and this is the first I've ever tried, almost like body sprays that you would do after you take like a shower. So, and that's what I do, is I'll use a body spray before I go to bed so I smell fantastic. And, you know, I shower at night, body spray. That's what this is to me. This is exceptionally light and delicious. It's a beautiful gourmand. It's a beautiful watermelon, yummy. candied scent, but I'm not getting too much. I do sense a little bit of that. Maybe I'm not right, but I feel like I get a little bit of that cedar, but maybe it's just the watermelon in there. Well, let's try it on the shirt because chemistry is very different. So I definitely get more of a candied feel here, but I am getting a little bit of a violet through here. So I'm getting a little bit more floral on the shirt than I am on the skin. So it's definitely that watermelon candy, but I'm getting a little bit more variety, like violet coming through on the shirt. So what I'm going to do, because I don't perceive these as morphing very much, these aren't that type of fragrance. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wear these until I don't smell them any longer, because I've been told that they don't last as long as others. So I just want to test it and see if these last 2-3 hours. And once it's done, I'll check back in. So these are going to be shorter videos because of that. And some people may be like, thank God. So there you go. So the next time you see me, I'm going to have worn this the full time and let you know where it's gone and check back in at the stop-in point. Okay, so it has been about 4 hours, a little bit under 4 hours, and so pretty much the scent is, it's having a really hard time smelling it, so that's why I'm checking in now. So the reason why I didn't do an hour check-in like I usually do is I've been told that these scents aren't quite that morphing, and once they're stabilized, that's it. So I didn't feel the need to be doing that. So then we're only doing that with this grouping, with the secret menu from Snif. So I get whiffs of it here and there, but for the most part, these are not strong fragrances. And of course, they're going to act differently on your chemistry than mine. But one of the things that I noticed pretty quickly with this is that there is musk. And the problem is with me, my personal chemistry, is it really pulls out musk very strong. So sometimes I wish there wasn't musk in things, especially gourmands, just because on my chemistry, so if you're like me, they kind of take over once the fragrance settles and it just becomes that musk. And that's kind of what happened with this one. It's musk. It's just that musky scent with a little bit of a sugared violet. Yeah, so it's like, here's a little bit of sugared violet, but let's dump some musk right on top of it. Which is a little bit frustrating for my chemistry, just because I don't want that. Sometimes I just want that beautiful gourmand, and I don't get it because chemistry in the universe is like, no. So that's what's happening here with this. It's just a very strong musk scent with a little bit of violet, candied violet trying to peek out. But let's try it here on the clothing. Okay, on the clothing, the musk isn't an issue at all. So it's my chemistry. It's like this candied sugared violet, like a powdered sugared candied violet is what this ends up smelling like in the end. So talking about the full life experience of this fragrance sounds like a science experiment. Like we created fruit flies and we're gonna watch what happens. So what happens is that when you initially spray this, it is very strong watermelon. It is a wash of marshmallow watermelon like candy, and it's pretty common. You'll see tons of marshmallow candies like this in Scandinavia. It's a pretty big deal. You can go into whole shops where they just have all these different type of gummies and candies like that. It's really big there. So I get why they went with Swede Tooth. Makes sense. Delicious. A lot of fun stuff. I enjoyed it. I got a bunch of little bags of it and brought it home and had a great time. So there you go. Check it out if you're in Scandinavia. But this one starts out like that. It very much is, and even smelling this, it's that burst of watermelon, like a powdery, sugary marshmallow watermelon, which I really liked. I thought it was really refreshing and great. And I'm like, oh, this is cute. This is just, it's delicious without being too, I don't want to say this because there's nothing wrong with this, but being juvenile. Sometimes people will say, scents like this, gourmands could be a little bit too young. And I don't feel like that's the case with this. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you, I mean, there's certain gourmands I love. Let me smell like a 14-year-old. I don't care. Just, I like it. Spray it on, you know? So there's nothing wrong with that. But some people will go, this isn't what I want. I want a grown-up gourmand. And this is more so. That being said, it is still light. It is still powdery. It is still sweet. You know, that's what this is. It's not trying to be something else. But that being said, it isn't too youthful if you're somebody who's like, I don't want that, you know? I don't want that. This is grown up more, you know, but that being said, it does have that powderiness to it, that very flirty, fun type thing. It is that. But what happens is over time, I found that it went from that powdery, marshmallowy watermelon to almost like a raspberry scent underneath it with that watermelon. It took a while to get there, but there was hints of that raspberry, which just kind of cut through a little bit because it's a little bit more tart, cutting through some of that sweetness. But then the violet started coming out for me, where I really started getting that powdery, candied violet. So the fruit notes for me are gone. You know, the raspberry, the watermelon is now gone, and I'm left with that powdery, candied, sugar candied violet, if that makes sense. But this is very light. It even wasn't a powerhouse when I first sprayed it. It's just not, I don't think that's what these are intended. But that being said, I was warned about that, and it is, at least with this one, factual. You're gonna have to respray these every 3 hours, I feel. These are not powerhouse scents. This is something more that I personally would use at the end of the night. So, and I do this. I know it's crazy. Maybe I'm the only one. I don't think I'm the only one, but I will take a shower and then I will take something light and I will spray it across my body. So when I go to sleep, I have beautiful dreams of deliciousness. But it's usually not a heavy scent. For me, it tends to be more of a gourmand or something sweet or light and flowery. You know, it's not going to be, I ain't cuddling up with T-Rex, you know, from zoologist. You know, I'm not doing that. But yeah, man, if you did, I'd be going, wow, that's awesome. But me, no. I want something gentler, something floral, something sweet. And this would be perfect for that because I wouldn't really care about the sillage or the longevity because I'm sleeping. So I'd have nice night dreams as I drift off, and that's that. That's more of what I would do. Or if I took a shower and I was up for a couple hours before I went to bed, I would smell this and then go to bed. So that's more of what I personally would use for this one myself. That doesn't mean you can't use it. I mean, look, if you're like carrying bags around or if you purses, this is going to fit right in there. You can whip this out every 3 hours, freshen up, and smell delicious and candied. That's just it. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So I think it's really great depending on what you want to use this for. If you want to do one spray or a couple sprays and then be done for 8 hours, this isn't going to be for you at all. So it's really good though. It is really good. It's just kind of that watermelon scent with a little bit of violets and marshmallow. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily groundbreaking. I know that I think last year Bath & Body Works had a body spray that was similar to this. It was like wild watermelon. It kind of was very similar to this without the candied marshmallow aspect, candied violet marshmallow, but it had the same similar opening. So for me, I think I got that for like $3. So I still have one here. So it's very similar in that. And it's like wacky watermelon or something. I don't know. It was like the 70s, ode to 70s. So for me, this smells wonderful, but I don't know if this is one that I would need to bring into my collection. This is my friend's. So, I don't know. And part of it is I wouldn't put it on my chemistry because the first thing that comes out is that musk. It's just, that is my body chemistry. So if you don't have an issue with that, you won't have to worry about that. But we're all individuals and that's what makes us awesome. And in this way, the musk always coming out so heavy on me makes me less awesome, in my opinion, because it's not a note that I want coming out. But that's who I am, you know, so you got to accept yourself at all levels. So there you go. if you love watermelon, if you love powdered, candied, marshmallowed fragrances that aren't, that are a little bit more adult, they're not so like childlike, and that grow to be like a beautiful violet in its scent later on, and settles really beautifully, this one may be for you. I could see why a lot of people would like this. So just know that, my impressions are a little bit different. And part of it is, I don't know, I love watermelon. I love eating the heck out of it, but I don't know if it's like something that I go around buying to smell like. So I may not be the target audience of this. Meanwhile, I have body spray that smells like it. I know, I'm a creature of novelty. But yeah, so if I were going to rate this one, Swede Tooth, I would probably give it about a 6 out of 10. And that's not bad. It's above average. I think it's really fun. The opening's really fun. I think it was a beautiful, like area of beautiful sweetness and happiness, and it made me happy. But this is something that I just wouldn't necessarily wear daily or like grab for all the time. But that's the main reasoning. I tend to like gourmands with like stronger gourmands, like caramels and coffee and things like that, a little bit heartier than this. But if you don't, and you don't want to stand out for the wrong reason and like being too bold with your fragrance, this would be perfect for you. If you like light fragrances, or if you do want to get something for your teenager that's light and happy, this would be really good, and nobody would give them side eye. It's a great thing like that, or somebody who just wants something light and fun for themselves. That is my review on Swede Tooth. Now, from my understanding, there are 4 others. I think there's 5 on the secret menu at this time. So most of them, I think there's only one other one in a large bottle, and then the rest of them are in the tiny ones, because I ended up getting a little sampler when my friend ordered. So yeah, that'll be fun. So with that, have a wonderful day, my friends. Bye.